Imagine spending hours updating your resume, writing a cover letter, applying to the job, researching the company thoroughly, getting an interview, and then prepping for that interview only to find out that your interview is with an AI chatbot. This experience isn't new anymore. Increasingly, recruiters and companies are using AI to filter out candidates in the interview process. There's no chit chat, there's no rapport building, there's no ability to go back and forth with the recruiter, ask questions, have a real conversation with anyone. It's just a machine deciding whether you're worth moving on to the next phase of the interview or not. I was just reading a story about how AI is increasingly being used within the hiring process. And I have some thoughts and I want to just record this to get my initial reaction, and I will post the link to the story as well, but I would love to get your thoughts. Basically, the news story was saying that with the new job boards and how much easier it is to apply to different jobs, it is making it increasingly harder for recruiters to be able to screen resumes and identify potential candidates, have screening interviews with them, and be able to select from a pool of candidates which people should move on to the next round of interviews with teams and hiring managers. So today I just wanted to talk about the rise of AI in the hiring process and what that means and the experiences of all these people that are going into the market now needing to have a new skill, the ability to interview well with an AI bot. So the companies that are overwhelmed by these applications are increasingly using AI tools to interview and screen candidates. This is not new, this has been happening for a while now, but it is becoming increasingly normal. More and more applicants are getting calls from AI chatbots, they're having conversations, and in many of the cases, a human doesn't actually enter the process until much later on in the hiring process. Now, to be fair, I get it, recruiters have a hard job. There's been a lot of layoffs within the recruitment and HR field. However, this is a big problem. Candidates are using AI to develop their resumes so that they do fit the job posting. That job posting was likely generated by AI in the first place. And now employers are using AI to filter out candidates. And then out of that pool, you select a few people that you might want to go through in the job process, but then you use AI to interview them. The thing that worries me is not just that people who do better on interviews, who can have a plan for structuring their answers, are going to be more likely to go forward, and some people are going to have less of a chance to go forward. The biggest problem for me is that we're glossing over the fact that AI and these algorithms and these tools are trained on data that are inherently biased. And what that means is, what if the AI bot is interviewing somebody with an accent? What if they're interviewing somebody that doesn't look like what you would expect for that role? You're not going to get the best developer, the best designer, the best teacher, the best researcher, the best fit for that company. Look, one of the things that makes the workforce great is diversity. Having different perspectives and opinions and coming from different backgrounds, it is a strength. And what we're doing when we turn over control to these algorithms is we're saying we don't care about some of these things as much. And this is a pattern that's happening not just with these interviewing AI tools. This is happening everywhere. The data that ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini are trained on is all biased data. And that's the biggest problem I have with these tools. I think it's something that we have to pay attention to. We can't gloss over it because the law is very clear. You can't discriminate based on gender and race and ethnicity. So my thinking is we gotta be a lot more transparent about the data that these tools are being trained on, and we can't just accept that they're making the process more efficient. They might make the process more efficient, quote unquote, but it might also become dangerous because then you're gonna be discriminating on race, ethnicity, gender, all these other factors. My whole dissertation focused on how inequality, bias, discrimination do not go away just because you implement a process online. And these companies, what they're not realizing is that they're not just removing the human factors of understanding someone's curiosity, their fit, their motivation, their potential for a company, the chemistry that they might have with a team. You have to be careful. If you start automating these processes, you're probably not going to get the best hire. You're going to get the person that knows how to use these tools and cater to them better than others. And the hypocrisy in all of this is that throughout the article and at the end of it, they interviewed multiple people. And even though these companies are all for using AI tools in the process and making it more efficient, they don't want the candidates to be using AI in their interviews. A representative from TestGorilla, which was the company that's developing these tools, they explicitly talked about how these tools are building in checks so that they can assess whether a candidate is using AI. They make certain questions appear harder, and they do that intentionally so that they could find out if people are running AI alongside them. That's a way that they check for these things. So for me, the hypocrisy is just beyond. We got to be careful about these tools and how we're using them. I think especially in the hiring process, people talk about meritocracy and giving the role to the right person who really deserves it, who has put in the work, who has the experience. Putting AI chatbots in the screening process is going to be problematic. I think we're going to look back and realize this might be a place where we actually want the human interaction back in the process. Let me read a quote from the story. "And we strongly recommend candidates put the AI devices aside. This is a test of your capability," said the TestGorilla head of marketing. This is why there have been several graduations where the speakers at commencement talk about the future AI and how this is going to be the next big thing and how we're going to shape the future with it. And the crowd is booing. There's a reason for that. That's a signal that these people are understanding the dangers of AI a lot better than some of the other folks that are all in on AI. We should be questioning these tools a lot more than we currently are. If you haven't checked out my video with Mike Dunn, we talk about how algorithms are running our lives. They're literally managing every aspect of the gig economy. And so it's a great conversation. I hope you can check that one out. So for now, that's my rant, and I hope you're sticking around for more videos to come. There's going to be more research-based and other conversations with folks in this space to really unpack what AI means, the trends, and how to really prepare for a world where we're inundated with these types of tools. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and if you know somebody who's interested or could benefit or who might be having an interview coming up soon, let them know to prepare for these things. Share this video with them, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.